changing the way we think and how we live our lives is one step in the right direction. Welcome to Be Well Berkshires. I'm your host, Jim Willis. I'm the administrator of the Be Well Berkshires Community Initiative. Be Well Berkshires is a mass emotion initiative that is designed to promote policies and programs to foster healthier lifestyles. What does that mean? Well, it means that we want you to eat better, move more, and be well. The format of this show is to speak with community members on what's going on in our community regarding health and wellness activities and to bring that information to you. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to introduce to you one of my favorite colleagues, Karen Rowe, who is the project coordinator of the Be Well Berkshires Community Initiative. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thanks for having me.
This is very exciting. This is our first Be Well Berkshires show. I think we're making history, so you're the first guest, and it's very exciting to have you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Karen.
I've lived in the Berkshires over 20 years, and I recently got a degree in social work. And one of the things I really wanted to do was work out in the community, and the other thing I really wanted to do was work on prevention. So I'm so excited to be part of Be Well Berkshires, working in the community on prevention and helping people be healthier.
Well, congratulations on your master's in social work. It's always challenging to go and get advanced degrees, especially when you have families and you live in the community, and especially these long, cold winters that we have to endure. You know, Be Well Berkshires, we've been around since 2009, and we've really evolved over time. And one key thing that you mentioned was prevention. And I think sometimes folks have a hard time, hanging their teeth into the concept of prevention. It's about preventing chronic diseases. It's about preventing health disparities, and if we work on prevention, we can prevent and save money long term and not be worried about all these health issues. And I think part of Be Well Berkshires is really to get out in the community and not only promote physical activity and increase accesses to healthier food choices, but it's really about prevention. And one exciting project that you're working on is working with Diane Marcella with the Tyler Street Business Group on creating a walkability loop similar to the North Street walking loop. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in that initiative.
Oh, I'd love to talk about this, Jim, because Diane has so much energy, and she and her colleague, Grace Walter, have been working with me. We've been working with Berkshire Regional Planning to do a walkability audit in the area to see what places are safe for people to walk and where we can create a walking loop that would be terrific for the people in the Morningside area. And lately we've come up with a plan to start the loop. We won't be completing the loop until the work's done around the William Stanley Business Park. But we're starting the loop this summer so that we can get people to the farmers market off of First Street. So the loop will be First Street and Tyler Street.
That's a long loop.
It's very long.
And I know when we worked with Downtown Pittsfield Inc. originally, before Healthier Pittsfield got on board, we got signs up where we convinced the city of Pittsfield to put the downtown loop, working with Berkshire Medical Center, putting up signs up by the streetscape section, talking about healthier messaging and whatnot. And it's amazing to me how many people use that downtown loop in the city of Pittsfield. And I'm really excited with all the work and efforts that you and your team are working on to work on the Morningside. That's definitely an area of need and concern, trying to promote businesses. And I know the city of Pittsfield and other agencies are working really hard at that. And that's a really exciting initiative to connect what's going on by Tyler Street through First and the farmers market. And that's a long loop. How many mile loop would that be?
Well, the total loop we're not exactly sure of, because we're not exactly sure where it's going to go, but we have close to 2 miles. It's maybe 1 mile and 7/10 if you started at Woodlawn and Tyler and you walked all the way to Fenn and First.
It's pretty short to some people, long to many others. Now I know they just revamped Silver Lake, and they're creating this walking. I read something in the Berkshire Eagle there a few weeks ago how they finally remediated that section. Is the group looking at maybe connecting the Silver Lake perimeter into that walking loop? That sounds really exciting.
Yeah, definitely. We want to take advantage of Silver Lake being so close by, so the loop would eventually go down Fenn Street Street and over towards East Street and Silver Lake, and then connect over Woodlawn when the bridge, the new bridge gets built, which will be safer than going on 4th Street under the railroad tracks.
That's really exciting. You mentioned when you were giving us the background of that about a walkability audit. Explain to us what's a walkability audit? What goes into a walkability audit?
There's a few steps. One of them is really getting out there, walking in the area and seeing what's going on. And you're looking for things for safety, and you're looking for aesthetics. You want it to be a pleasing place to walk as well as a safe place to walk. So some of the things we're looking at are the crosswalks painted? Are the crosswalks where they need to be? Is there signage letting cars know that there are pedestrians? Are there street lights or street lights that have
adequate street lights?
Yes,
right.
Adequate street lighting so that people can be safe. And are there red lights so that people can cross with a light? So
when you push the button to cross the street,
Yeah.
it gives you 10 seconds to cross the street, or it could be 5 minutes. So you have to find a,
Exactly.
a happy medium and whatnot. And I would assume that part of this walkability tool audit would be compiled into a formal report that would
Yes.
hopefully be available to the city council, the mayor, the Public Health and Safety Subcommittee, the Green Commission, because I think that would be a really good tool. It gives you the map to not only assess the location you're working on, but to provide a template for other areas of the city or any other community.
Exactly, exactly, and we're excited about that. Right now they're using it to see where to prioritize the fixing sidewalks so that if people have disabilities, if people have trouble with negotiating uneven terrain, they're not having a safety issue when they're walking on our loop.
Well, that sounds really exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing that report and making some significant advancements. And speaking of adequate lighting, at the previous Pittsfield Public Health and Safety Subcommittee, there was a petition from Diane, Marcella, and Tyler Street to ask for, I don't know what the petition exactly was asking for, but it was maybe just to raise awareness to the subcommittee to say, hey, look, we need some adequate lighting, and you were there in attendance supporting that. We got a little bit of earned media. I think it was an Berkshires, something in the Berkshire region.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's all about with Well Berkshires. It's not only working on the initiatives that you're working on, and I think we'll touch on some others during this show, but it's really supporting what's going on, what's not going on, identify the gaps, and really work together, because that's what it's really about. And that's what this show is really about, is bringing in community members and leaders and just the regular people that live and work in this community and talk about what's going on to educate, promote, and link other folks to make healthier lifestyle choices. And that's really exciting that you're working on something. I'm looking to seeing that launch, and maybe a bike race, maybe a 5K run, maybe loop it over 2 or 3 times, because
Yeah.
it is under 2
Yeah.
miles. But one of the main foundations of the Well Berkshires initiative that we've been working on since day one is the Healthy Dining Options program. Talk to us a little about what does that mean? What's the Healthy Dining Options program?
Well, the Healthy Dining Options program is a free voluntary program for restaurants to be involved in. And what they're doing is putting healthy options on their menu or highlighting the healthy options that they already have. And what we're doing is promoting these options in the community so that people know when they want to get something healthy to eat, they know where to go.
So you're not going into a restaurant and mandating that they offer healthier food choices.
No.
And I think that's an important message for the viewers as they're tuning into our new show. It's really a voluntary program. So you're going in, and I'm assuming you're educating the restaurant owners or whoever's making the decision
Yeah.
on behalf of that business in trying to promote healthier choices on menus. Because I know every time my family and I go out, we open up the kids menu. It's French fries, it's burgers, it's tuna melts, and it's really maybe making it easier to identify these healthier food choices on menus.
Definitely. We're working with the restaurants to help their patrons see which options are the most healthy. And you're right, Jim, options are really important.
So if there's 5 options and 4 are healthy and 1 is the unhealthy, we could assume that perhaps the odds are in our favor for that individual to choose a healthier food option. And I think that's what it's really all about. It's really educating the patrons and the consumers, they're going to make a choice no matter what based on their lifestyle. But if we can educate and work with the restaurants in collaboration rather than mandating and enforcing, I think it gives options to community members. And it's really exciting to actually see owners of restaurants that get it.
Yes.
People are coming in, whether we're seeing an increase of gluten-free products, and we're seeing a lot of allergies out in the food industry right now. And I think restaurant owners that actually get that and are willing to make changes to the menu is really exciting, and again gets back to the foundation of Well Berkshires of work. We're in this together.
Yes, definitely. And the restaurant owners that I've met have been terrific. They really are looking to help their patrons make good, healthy choices.
And how many restaurants do you think we have now that are signed up to on the healthy dining program?
I think in the 5 towns of Pittsfield, Lee, Lenox, Stockbridge, and Great Barrington, I think we have over 20.
Oh, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
And I know one thing we're working on is trying to capture the successes in the 5-town collaborative, and we did this video about a year ago, and I think it's been up on YouTube and Facebook, maybe less than a year ago, maybe 6 or 7 months ago, and we're going to show the viewers the healthy dining video that is now up on Facebook and our YouTube channel. So folks, go ahead and take a look at the healthy dining video. We'll come right back.
Offering healthy dining options is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1, create your own healthy options.
Step 2, sign up for the program.
Step 3, reap the benefits of the healthy dining program.
Customers are going into restaurants, food stores, and they're asking for healthier choices. In response to the national obesity and overweight issues, I think people are starting to really recognize that they want to do the right thing, or at least have that option to choose the right meal wherever they're going out.
We would not be in business but for the fact that we cater to our patrons' dietary needs and preferences. If a customer tells us they can't eat salt, they can't eat sugar, they can't eat wheat, they can't eat dairy, we're going to find a way to accommodate them.
It's worked out really well. I mean, it's been almost 10 years, and people really enjoy it. And the fact that everything's so fresh, the flavors really blend well together. And we take a lot of time and try to create the menus that have that combination.
It was just the logical menu without consciously thinking about healthy dining options. But another part of it is that my husband is a vegetarian and has been for a long time, so I'm always thinking about, is there something he can eat where we're going?
I think that people today are becoming more aware of what they're putting in their bodies, and the use of GMO, genetically modified organisms, in our food system, and the way that corn is in every food product. I mean, people are really becoming aware of what it's doing to them, and it's all about what we put in our bodies.
Our clients appreciate it, and they really appreciate the fact that we do almost all of our dishes available as half portions or full portions. So they don't feel obliged to eat more than they want to. They don't get presented with a huge plate of food and feel bad they can't finish it. And on my side, it's nice because they have room for dessert. So
I'm sure some people are coming in choosing them because, okay, this is healthier for me. But more of it, I think, is people are more eclectic in their tastes about food. And so they're coming in seeing a bean burger on the menu thinking, maybe I'll try that.
Anything that we can make here, we do. From salad dressings, all of our breads and baked products are from scratch. Breakfast items, we make our own sausage, corned beef hash. It's really what we take pride in doing.
My mom and dad took a lot of pride in that, and they brought us up in that way, and it just translated right through my whole career. That's how you want to eat. You want to eat fresh, healthy, and good.
we would rather they would come here and eat real food, carefully prepared in sensible portions, rather than the convenience foods that are ubiquitous.
And instead of trying to make the most money per ingredient, you make the most customers happy, you'll get more repeat customers, and therefore you'll fill up your restaurant more.
You have other options for your guests. I think that's easy.
These days, people are very cognizant of their health and demand that restaurants provide them with choices, and delicious choices at that.
changing the way we think and how we live our lives is one step in the right direction. Providing healthy dining options is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1, create your own healthy dining options.
Step 2, sign up for the program.
Step 3, reap the benefits of the healthy dining program.
Welcome back. That's a great video, isn't it? I mean, I know we worked together to put it together, but to me, it's really recognizing and showing a reflection of the businesses in our community that are offering healthier food choices. And, you know, just let's keep adding those restaurants on, and before you know it, every restaurant in Berkshire County will be offering healthier food choices. And that's really what Be Well Berkshires is all about. It's really linking the community members of what's going on. You know, how can I get out and be more physically active? How can I go out, and whether I'm cooking from home with my family and friends, or going out once in a great while like we do now because we have no time but you want to go out and be informed of what you're eating, and part of what we promote in Be Well Berkshires is locally grown, and I know you're working with the schools on, you know, the state regulation. A couple of years ago, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts passed regulations, you know, regulating certain foods that are offered in the schools, and I know you're working with some of the wellness councils in the 5-town collaborative. Well, so what's going on with some of the schools on some of the healthier foods in the school system?
Well, it's an exciting time because there are new mandates, and we're trying to get some new changes and new types of food into the schools. And what I'm hearing from the food service directors is that the younger children are doing terrific with it. They're trying new things. They're much more open to the fruits and vegetables than the older children who are a little more used to the way it used to be. And as we know, anything that we make a habit, the longer we do it, the harder it is to change. So it just takes some time to change.
Yeah.
I'm also working with the Pittsfield School Wellness Committee, and they've gotten a very good policy together, and they're working on implementing it. And that's the next step. It's being aware of what's going on and creating the policy and then working on implementing.
Yeah, I know with in Berkshire County as well as the state of Massachusetts, the overweight and obesity rates are definitely at an alarming number. It's about 33% of Berkshire County elementary and high school students are either are overweight or at risk of being obese, and I think we definitely need to make some changes in that regard. And I know when the regulation first came out, there was a little bit of pushback on it, you know, trying to make those changes. And I think you're right, but I think if we're able to change the culture at a young age, we'll definitely be able to see a difference as the generations start to grow in the future. And you know, sometimes they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you're right. When you get older and you're used to that type of lifestyle, it's really hard to change. But I think incrementally we can make those changes to get our community back to healthy and well. It's really exciting stuff. And what else? Anything else you're working on? I know you're working on this smoke-free housing project that's actually picked up a lot of momentum actually across the entire state, with property owners are wanting to go smoke-free in their units to combat, you know, the health issues associated with smoking. So what's going on with smoke-free housing?
Well, it's exciting. Oak Hill properties have become smoke-free here in Pittsfield over on Crane Ave. And the Lee Housing Authority just became smoke-free, so it is happening both in private and in public housing. People are very interested in it because you can't contain secondhand smoke, and so if you're in a multi-unit apartment complex and someone is smoking, everyone else is being exposed. So it's important to help people understand that it's not against smokers, but that the secondhand smoke is causing a problem.
Yeah, that's an interesting initiative as well. And I think the dynamic with that initiative, I think a lot of the property owners are coming to you in Be Well Berkshires asking for technical assistance on that. And I know in the state of Massachusetts, and at least I know in 2013 up to where we are now, there are over 24,000 units now in the state that are smoke-free. And and that's a challenge. I mean, tobacco use that we'll save that for another show. We may need a couple more segments to talk about tobacco and what's going on in the industry of attracting youth to tobacco. But there are significant, acute and chronic health issues associated with tobacco use, and it's just amazing that you have enough time in the day, Karen, and the week to do all the work that you're doing, and it's really exciting stuff.
It is very exciting. We have a few things coming up in Pittsfield. We're going to have a community walk during the third Thursday when they have the Green Mile. They've invited people to walk along the Green Mile course. They're aiming for 1,000 steps of health, and that's with Healthy Pittsfield. I've been working with Healthy Pittsfield to get some things going. They're also going to have a superfood food drive, which will help bring really healthy foods to the food pantries for the summertime, which is sometimes a low time for donations to food pantries.
Is that super size or super food? No, I'm just kidding. I know that Healthy Pittsfield, working with Bobby Orsi and Gina Armstrong, are been working really hard on trying to get the super food drives. And I know, and you're talking about the food pantries. There's a lot of food pantries across Berkshire County, and what I've seen, at least in my experience, it's really a lot of unhealthy foods. It's usually,
unfortunately,
it's usually the canned goods with high sodium. It's people go through their cupboards and cabinets to see what they're not using, and then they donate them. And I think that's an area at some point we want to make some strides and educate the folks that use the food pantries, because I know sodium content is really high in some of these canned goods, and that obviously converts over to diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, and many other chronic disease issues. And that's really exciting stuff. And I know with Be Well Berkshires, which is a Mass in Motion funded a community initiative, there's been some transition and what's going on with the future of Mass in Motion. So what's going on with Mass in Motion as we look into the future?
That's a very good question, Jim. Mass in Motion won't go away. The state is very invested in Mass in Motion, and locally we're very fortunate because we've invested in Be Well Berkshires through Tri-Town, and the community definitely supports Be Well Berkshires. So we'll have efforts for health and wellness ongoing. There is a grant out right now that we're working on, and hopefully we'll be successful in continuing the state funding for the Mass in Motion program in Berkshire County. It's very exciting because we're working with North Berkshire as well, and so it's really interesting to try to tie our programs together to expand and really collaborate.
Absolutely, and I think collaboration is in creating relationships and partnerships is really what it's all about. And me living in the city of Pittsfield myself, when someone is in need, or there's a fire, or someone is sick, the community really pulls together, and that's again the foundation of Be Well Berkshires. It's obviously we have to collaborate and work on specific guidelines within the scope of the grant funding that we get, and I know North Berkshire County, under Al Bashevkin's program, Northern Berkshire Community Coalition, Amanda Chilson, which will eventually get on the show, they're working on some interesting initiatives too. They got this mayoral fitness challenge, and that's really exciting. And it's really exciting to live, work, and play in Berkshire County. And even though we have those long winters, there are ways we can get out and be physically active and get access to healthier foods and whatnot. And one thing I always see a lot when I'm traveling around in the community is, where are all the kids with the school bus stops? It seems like everyone is driving their kids to school. And I think, I don't know if there's a perception out there of safety within a neighborhood or community, or you have working parents that are just too busy. And being a father myself with two young boys, I'm eventually going to get to that point where I'm either going to have to drive my kids to school or get them to a school bus. And I know the school bus goes down my street, which will make things a lot easier. But any sense on what the conversation's going out there with some of the community leaders on trying to figure out a better way to promote that walking and relationships and conversations with the kids, to kind of get away from this format of driving everyone to school?
The schools are a little bit frustrated, I think, with that, because most of the schools are not set up for so many cars to come at pickup time and at drop-off time. So we're working with Safe Routes to School. We've been working with Conti School, which is having a lot of improvements, traffic improvements, one-way streets.
That's
and
over in Ward 6?
Yes, and sidewalk improvements so that kids can walk to school more safely there. Crosby has some kids who, through some teachers who also live nearby, go by and pick up good numbers of the kids and walk with them up the hill to Crosby. So that's been nice that that's going on. And they're hoping to get they're hoping to do a walking school bus. A lot of the Pittsfield schools, even Egremont has a Walking Wednesday. A lot of the Pittsfield schools are involved in the Safe Routes to School program, which encourages kids to walk to school. And it not only cuts down on that crazy drop-off and pickup time, but it also gives the kids some exercise, lets them shake their sillies out before they sit down to work. Actually, Safe Routes to School is going to be doing a pedestrian and bike safety training down in the Lee Public Schools.
Oh, nice.
I think this Thursday I'll be down there with them, and that will be nice.
Really exciting stuff. I mean, hopefully the sidewalks are shoveled
Yeah.
in the winter time to get our kids walking to school. And, you know, Karen, we're starting to wrap up our first show. And real quick, what's a walking school bus again?
A walking school bus is where people start walking, then they go along the street and pick up another group of kids and all go together. And it's a nice way for the kids to talk and parents even to chat and everybody get to school.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, we're in this new generation where everyone's on a PDA or an iPad and we're getting away from communication. And so real quick, Karen, how can people get a hold of you and if they're interested in volunteering for Well Berkshires?
Sure, if you're interested in any of these programs, give me a call. My number is 445-7028, or you can email me, krowe@bhs1.org.
Well, thank you, Karen, for
Thank you
being
so
the
much,
first
Jim.
guest on the inaugural Well Berkshires show. And thank you for joining us, Karen.
Thank
Much
you.
appreciated.